Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
And my name's John T.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you feeling? You a bit tired, Granville?
I'm alright.
You're flagging a bit.
Yeah, it gets later and later, Mark. Well, actually, we've started early, haven't we? 10 to 10.
Yes, I know. So it started nice and early for you to give you the chance to gloat about the fact you've slaughtered me in the game week with your wild card. And John T, you've got plenty to talk about this week as well.
Yeah. Lots to talk about from the community, but also, I share a tale that a lot of the community have as well. In that I had took a lot of hits and they've worked out, so that's great.
And unlikely to have the greatest hits from John T coming up in a moment. Yeah. He's got one player in particular that he's going to talk about. He's captured a little clue, getting that in straight away. Why not? Yes. John T, how does the community get involved tonight?
They can either go on Twitter, we're at FFScout, or they can go on to the website, which is fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, or the YouTube channel. There should be a comment box to the side, and you can leave your comments there, and we're checking them throughout the time.
Yes, indeed. We've got lots of questions lined up. Granville, you had your wild card active. I mean, do you call this a victory? I mean, it's not too bad. 57 points. You happy with that so far?
I'm fairly happy. Yeah. It's just a way that I jumped up from 20,000 to on the brink of 10,000. That's what's making me a bit more excited about the rest of the season. I just needed something like that. But I've been hanging on to the wild card for so long. I think I deserve that, actually.
Yeah, and you've got...
Carry on, I've got a technical issue here. Just carry on.
Okay, plus the fact that I only got 36 points, which means you're already 21 up on me. I've got several tales of woe to talk of this game week, but, I mean, you've got to count it as a victory so far with the wild card, and you've obviously got plenty to play Tuesday and Wednesday as well, so... Yeah,
it's just a shame that I can't complain too much, okay, but at the same time, and I think a lot of people are ruining this, that none of our midfielders did anything.
No.
And it was all down to the defenders and a couple of attackers. And but we didn't really expect. Did we expect Liverpool and Chelsea to blank? Not really.
Well, this is it. I think
it was down to our lesser players at the end of the day, wasn't it? The defenders.
I think we expected it from Chelsea, didn't we? I think we suspected that they'd go to the Emirates and not park the bus, but it was an atrocious affair, wasn't it, at the Emirates? So we kind of saw that one coming. Liverpool at West Brom, I go in a way. I mean, West Brom have conceded they conceded 7 goals before that in the last 2 home games, so I guess they were always going to keep it tight. Liverpool struggle for goals, don't they, at the moment without Sturridge? So. I suppose it was on the cards, but yeah. So though, I mean, I sat there Saturday morning and I was thinking about should I go Coutinho, should I go Skirt and double on the defence, and I maybe should.
I think Liverpool should really have won that game. They had plenty of chances. They had plenty of the ball. They did really dominate possession. Just didn't do that much with it. It's a shame really, but hopefully they can repay us against Hull. We'll see. So, when is it? Is it Wednesday again? Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday is a Liverpool Hull game, and then and then Wednesday is a Leicester Chelsea game, and it's difficult to see where both those games could be open affairs because obviously Hull and Leicester have got plenty to play for, but equally could be very tight because of with Chelsea aren't going to Leicester and go for it, are they? So
the problem we've got is that this is why there's probably no chance of getting a 100-point game week is that. They'll play each other, and so you're not going to get defensive and attacking points. Not likely, unless the defenders score, which is not that likely really. Sorry.
We talked about your whole targets, and we talked last week, and we went through the rosters, and you mentioned you were going to look at the goalkeeper, and you've got Harper as your caption there. So you're pretty pleased with your returns and your whole player the first week.
It could have been better, of course, because I could have had Schmeichel and Enjoy.
I was going to
say, John T's waiting for this.
This was obviously a setup.
So I've been asked to give a wave, so just waved.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought this.
I'm interacting.
I was saying I chose Harper and Vardy over Enjoy and Schmeichel, and the reason was, well, two reasons. Double Leicester defence, wasn't so sure that was a good idea. Plus, the game next week is Leicester at home to Newcastle, and it just, at the end of the day, I mean, Hull have got Arsenal, and so I looked at that picture and I just thought, nah, I've got to go for Leicester attacker, and so that's what made my choice. But Jonty had enjoyed, didn't he?
Well, I just wanted to cross this in for Jonty to nod home, so we've got to give you a moment of triumph.
There we go. So, I mean, my rationale with the week, I'll put it into context. I took a 12-point hit. I think I said last week to Granville, I think your wild card's worth at least 20 points over those without a wild card, because just the nature of the teams involved, potentially attacking sides like Leicester, and then you've got these great defences. So, you know, you can stock up with your 9-10 players. So people like me, I was looking at two. I had Ivanovic and Hazard and Remy. So Remy was, you know, no hope. So I was looking at two with no free transfers. So it was basically I'd do nothing, take one hit, or just really go for it and just get some differentials in and hope for the best. So and a bit of coverage. So I got you know, I took out Ericsson, Silva, Klein, and Remy, who I calculated got 6 points in total because Ramsey would have come in for Remy. And I got in Doy, who is a fantastic addition, Coutinho. So I've gone for another differential there. Sterling's actually, I didn't want Sterling, but I've got him to cover, because if those who aren't captaining Hazard, most of them, that other 10-20% are going to be captaining Sterling. So I've covered that off. And I got Skirtle, who I did want, and I anticipated he would be the most valuable Liverpool defender to get in, that he would mop up the bonus, and he did. I mean, right. This is what Skirtle does. He is worth that extra 2-3 points.
Right. So you wanted Skirtle.
I wanted Skirtle. I wanted Coutinho. I wanted Ndoye, and I wanted, and I didn't particularly want Sterling, but I got Sterling in to cover. Right. So basically, what it was a tactical 12-point hit. And as I'm sure you'll probably notice, the players I got out didn't do much, and of them, I'm more than happy to see most of them go. Silva was the only one I was very worried about, because he could have wiped out my 12-point hit success with Ndoye, but he didn't. So, and he got booked as well. So
somehow I didn't fancy Silva. I didn't have any qualms about taking him out.
No.
Or,
if I had a wild card, I wouldn't have minded, because I mean, it's fantastic. You're so well set up. You've got your Chelsea players in place. I mean, say Fabregas scores, well then suddenly you've got that extra edge over people, and you know, I mean, myself and Mark must be going through the same thing I was going into the game week. You're looking at players like you with a wild card, and you're thinking, and well, in Mark's case with Green Windmill, who's top of the Moderators League, and you look at them and you think, well, you know, how can you compete? And I mean, the only way is just to take some risks and hope for the best. So
John, it means that you've already accepted that you're going to lose points. You're not taking any chances by doing that. And I understand why you do that. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I've taken chances. The only way is to take a chance. Yeah, I couldn't sit back because you. I mean, yeah.
Well, in the end, you haven't taken a chance. What you've done, you've cut your losses. So you've gone. I've thrown away 12 points, but I know that people aren't going to be able to score that many points on me from there.
Well, I've got...
so you're sort of saying that I don't mind losing, say, 15, 20 points this week, which you probably will do. But, how many double game week players do you have?
I've got 6.
Right, okay. So you're looking at about a 20 point... You're probably looking at about a 20-point deficit.
But because of where I am, because I'm in the top 2,000 or so, what my fear for this week, and this is the same wherever you are in the rankings, is that in a double game week you could end up 40, 50, 60 points behind. Yeah. Some of these double game weeks we've had in the past, you know, where Rooney got his 64 points for those that captained him, and you know, people were racking up scores of 140, whereas other people were getting, say, 70 or 80. And if you're like 60 points behind, so looking at the teams involved, there was a real risk of going behind. If I can finish this week 20 points behind people like yourself, Granville, in the game week, I'm absolutely delighted, because I I mean, I've worked out the players in. This is so far. So I got 28 points from those 4 players in. I spent 12 points from 16 points up, 16 points out of them. But they've all got games to go, so that's half time for these players. So all they have to do is show up, and I'm gained about 20 or 30 points.
Jonty, you say a 12-point hit was brave, but champions, real champions, they take 52-point hits.
Well, this is
more on that in a minute.
Okay.
We're gonna look back on Rough with the Smooth, and we're going to talk about a certain champion of FPL who's come up with the roughest game week. I don't think anyone's going to beat it. Don't think anyone's going to beat this in the history of these podcasts. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. Then we're going to look at all aboard, and Jonty's got some questions in the community to address some of the issues in all aboard. He's also got some stats to roll out. Then we're going to look briefly at the Scout Leagues and see how Dufflinks is going at the top of the FBL, because he had his wildcard active as well, so there's some key things going on there. And then we're going to preview the weekend, of course, but there's still some fixtures to go this week, and then some more questions already about game week 37, Jonty. I think the community have already got some questions for us there. Rough with the Smooth. So I think we have to begin with this. We have to begin with the roughest of all rough game week, and hand it over to Mr. Tom Fenley, who has just taken the biscuit, hasn't he?
Yeah, he. So he had his wild cards, and he's spending all week getting players in and out, tweaking away, and so he'd racked up a 52-point hit by the end of it, and then
wildcard window shopping, as we like to call it. It's very enjoyable if you got your wildcard.
Very enjoyable. But he didn't press the vital button, which says wildcard active. So he had one of those moments. It's a heart sink moment where at 11:45 or so, when the game's updated, you look at your game week screen, and on his screen it said -52. So he had an amazing wild-carded team, and he was starting with 52 points. So what's he on now? He's got 58 points, but he hasn't really. He's actually got 6. He's got 6 points.
Hey, you say that, Jonty, but he's still got a wild card left.
He's
That's very true.
So, you can use it in game week 37.
This is true. So he can get one over on us, but his rank drop he was 27,452, and he's now 54,784. So he's pretty much.
I'll put it to you, right? If there was one FBL player that this could happen to, who would just laugh it off, it would be the current FBL champion, because he's about the only player who could afford to do it and go, oh well, never mind. And he laughs.
He's always got that to fall back on. He's won the thing. But his main worry was within the community, we have a tournament run by the group called FFS UEFA, and he is in
he's in our team
and contributors league. It's a group tournament, and he was selected. So as a group, we went into that with -52.
Laugh it up, Granville.
I didn't even notice that. Honestly, I didn't notice. But that's really funny. Not only has he let himself down, he's let his whole team down.
But bless him, the only thing he was worried about was letting us all down. He really didn't mind about it happening to himself. It was the thing he laughed off, but he was genuinely concerned. And it looks like, actually, we're still in with a chance, bizarrely, of winning our tie. So we're only about less than 10 points behind, but we'll have to see. But he's not the only one. We have another poster, Luke Sanders, who I thought was Tom in disguise, but he did exactly the same thing, -52. Checked out his team.
He posted up on the board.
Yeah, he was 34,000. He's now down to 72,000. But as you say, he's got the wild card left, so he'll be laughing.
I've got to say, right, in their defence, it's actually quite easy to do, because when I played my January wildcard, I did exactly the same. I sat there on the Saturday morning, ready to make my changes, and I put all the changes in, went through to the transfer screen, and just about to click confirm, and I looked at it, went, this will subtract, 26 points or whatever it was, and I went, oh. And I expected to see the ability to activate the wildcard at that point, and it's not. You have to activate it first, then make your transit. And I actually think it's a little bit too easy to make this error. And
you can activate it after, though. After you spent the points, you can then activate it.
Ah, there is that, of course, yeah. So it's just whether
that would have been a Scout podcast ever if you'd done that, Mark.
Yeah.
That would have been
Especially
good.
like when you've been in the, hovering near the top 100.
I think the thing is, you've got to activate it early in the week, haven't you? Get it rolling, and then.
I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know why you wouldn't activate it as soon as you made your first transfer. You have to make 2 transfers, don't you?
Yeah,
Also,
that's what I do. Yeah.
As soon as you're spending points, then you go. Yeah, I mean that's the first thing I did on Saturday, the previous Saturday when my wildcard came in. First thing I did was activate that wildcard. Not because I thought I was going to forget or anything. It's just I don't know. It's just sort of like a release. By the time not to do it, he must be kicking himself. But I don't understand how you'd end up in that situation.
Do you feel that release when you got the wild card out? I can relax on the transfers. It's a nice feeling.
The good thing about it is that you see everyone fretting on the boards about, I'm going to spend 12 and I'm going to spend 16. And, and that is the best bit, that you know that you can just sit back and go, I don't have to spend anything.
A little bit of a gloat. Gloating.
Although that can be a double-edged sword as well, because then I'm thinking, now that I've got all this freedom, I've got the freedom to make mistakes.
There is that. I'm going to add my contribution to the
go for it.
I came in with a miserly 36 points. I was talking about on the preamble about how I'm expecting this to be a good game week for me and everybody. I thought everyone would do quite well because we were all fully stocked on Chelsea, Liverpool, Leicester as well. We spoke a lot about their assets. Of course, my Leicester assets, I had Nugent and Schlupp. So basically, none of those turned up, and everyone else came in. Morgan, Schmeichel, Vardy. They all came in, the whole cast, apart from my 2, Nugent and Schlupp, who were in the stands. So, yeah, I'm struggling on 36 points. I have actually got a bench laden with points, 17 points. I've got Dawson, Bellerin and Harry Kane.
Oh, you'll get all those, no trouble.
Well, I won't get them all. I'll hopefully get 11, but we'll see.
Hopefully. That's all of them, isn't it?
No, I'll get Schlupp and I don't think Schlupp and Nugent will play on Wednesday. The way Pearson's talking, so I think I'm in luck, but... Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. Any more rough out there, John T?
I mean, we couldn't beat them for rough, so I'm just going to... There's quite a lot of smooths, though, so this will make you feel
this is going to make me feel sick, isn't it?
So let's go. I'll just kind of rattle through some of these. So Melanista, he took 8 points worth of hits. So he got Bellerin, Sanchez, Ericsson and Remy out for Skirtle, Henderson, Coutinho and Ndoye. So he's up on the deal.
There's going to be an Ndoye theme here, isn't there?
Yeah, Jarzinho, 16-point hit. Get this. Kane and Rose among those dumped. Ndoye again. He's got Livermore, but let's see.
Two whole. You
never know. It's one of those weeks. Livermore will score probably. And then and 2 Leicester defenders. So that's going well. So amongst our wildcarders, Merseyside Red, he's on 59 with 9 to play. Double Chelsea defence. Schmeichel amongst his ones. I mean, these are going to get good scores. Death or Glory, 58. He's another happy Ndoye owner. He's up to 72nd in the world with 10 double game weekers to go. Puyol Pants Up is on 59. Schmeichel, Ivanovic, Skirtle and McShane. So another whole...
Extra points. Don't you get extra bonus points for McShane? Extra bonus
points for McShane. I mean, he's got 30 points or so from his defence and goalkeepers. And I also want to mention Ruth NZ, who was one of the first earlier in the week to talk about Ndoye, put up a post. Lots of people going, really? And it started to get people like me thinking about Ndoye. And then we also had, so I mean, it was gradually picking up pace. So just wanted to mention her. Ruth NZ not only got Ndoye in, but captained Ndoye.
I've got to stop you there, Jonty, while I plug my power pack into my laptop. I can't believe I've done this as well, Jonty. So
okay.
While I plug myself in.
Fair enough. But I also just wanted to bring up, and I'm sure we'll mention it a bit later, but we have a poster in the community, Hutton Vestas Lamb, who knows the partner of Jamie Vardy, and posted some inside knowledge on Jamie Vardy's foot injury. And that prompted many like myself to really consider Ndoye there. So I just mentioned it, but I'm sure we'll come to that a bit later.
Schoolboy error there, Granville. Can't believe it.
What's the score? Oh yeah. Well, you know,
You're a bit.
because I'd actually changed on the Friday when I found out about Vardy being a doubt. Whether he was or not, I don't know. But no, actually, he was, wasn't he? Because we did find out later that he did have an injection.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, he did. Yeah, it was all accurate. He did have a foot injury.
Yeah. So I actually changed to a shower for a little while, for a couple of hours.
Oh.
And then someone pointed out that Vardy's missus posted up on Twitter, and that she'd said that he was all right. So I changed it back, fortunately. Yeah. But can I just remind you that last week I mentioned Endoy as an option.
Yes, probably.
Whilst Mark said that the best Hull option was Diame.
Well,
He's gone.
I mean, I guess to be fair, Diame then got another there was an unspecified injury. Bruce came out and said, "I'm not sure he's going to be ready." Actually, but yeah, I mean, a player coming back from a long-term injury is always going to be a real risk.
Yeah, Diame was always a risk. I thought that was a bit unfortunate, but I was definitely distracted by Diame. I just didn't think Ndoye. I think he went off the boil, but he too had an injury, didn't he? He came back, but he had a few goes. To be fair, Granville, in terms of the shots on goal at Crystal Palace, he should have had more, shouldn't he? I'm sure Johnson's got the stats there.
We'll come to that a bit later. But yeah, I was looking at. I was thinking, my God, is this man going to get five goals? Is he going to do a Berbatov or a Defoe on me this week? But alas, it was just
that would have been hard to take.
Or a Bentner. Do you remember that game when Bentner missed about 5 great chances, and Mark was captain?
I was actually at the game as well. I had him captain, and it was at home to Wigan. I had him captain, believe it or not, and he missed about 5 sitters, and I think he hit the post as well. Absolutely, it was agony.
I mean, I don't even remember all the sitters, but I remember when he got subbed off and he was sat on the bench and he was just smiling. He says, it's just one of those days. Unfortunately for him, those days occurred quite frequently.
Yeah, hang up your pink boots, Nick. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to look at all aboard now, but we've got plenty of questions linked around this, John T. So let's briefly look at how all aboard has shaped up so far. Not a lot of transfers at the moment because it's early in the week, but already the preparations for game week 37 are beginning. Giroud is top of that.
Yeah.
On 8,000, nearly 9,000 transfers in as of this morning. And then Benteke, I mean, he didn't score at City, but he did everything but that, didn't he? And then Pella, who is doing very well. So everyone's getting strikers, it seems.
I think so, yeah.
We've got some questions of the community linked to that, haven't we? It looks at, because at the moment, everyone's getting rid of, presume, of their Leicester striker and so on. That's how it's looking, isn't it?
We'll have a look at some of these questions here.
By the way, at the minute.
Oh, what was that?
And they're not actually getting rid of Leicester strikers. They're getting rid of Murray and Austin. Those kind of players, the players who were doing well.
Yeah, they're getting them in. I think Vardy's doing well in the transfers in, and quite rightly so. I did some just before we get some questions. I just wanted to put some stats in there because I was having a look at some of those. Transfers in and out, and there was a lot of movement with strikers, and we were sorting out our watch list earlier today, and looking at that, and strikers were mentioned a lot there, and a few people were making the points that this is the time when people can take some risks on some strikers. So when we look at top shots in the box last 4 game weeks, always think shots in the box is the best indicator of success with a striker. So we've got Vardy top 13 shots inside the box. Got Rooney next, then Murray and Aguero, usual suspects there. Then Pella as well, and then my friend Ndoye, he's got 10 shots in the box, which is the same as Benteke. And then Perez at Newcastle. So I mean, if you're looking for a cheap differential, Perez at Newcastle could be one there. It's got good fixtures. I'm not going to say Newcastle are going to win any games, but they could certainly score. With those fixtures, and then looking right the way down the list, I mean, just above Robert Huth is Harry Kane and Charlie Austin. So they're moving down. Meanwhile, Connor Wickham has overtaken them. these are the players people are starting to look at. You can look at the fixtures, the double game weeks, and you can see.
This time last year, Connor Wickham started his run that really helped keep Sunderland up. I wonder whether we're going to see that again.
Well, he's got back-to-back goals already. He got 2 in 2, and he got 5. I think he got 5 in 6 matches at the end last season. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be a name everyone's going to look at for game 57. Already, I mean, you look at the transfers in, as I say, Giroud and Sanchez are in the top 4.
Yeah.
So everyone's making their preparation for game at 37 already. I want to talk about Arsenal assets later on. Yeah, they are. People are getting rid of Rooney. He's top of the transfers out. Murray, Austin. These are the players that are being sacrificed.
Yeah.
There's a question from Sully about Leicester assets because he raises this about, I mean, are we, is it right to get rid of them, doesn't he, John T?
Yeah, no, he says, Sully says, with Leicester in such good form, are any of their players worth keeping for longer than we had initially planned? I mean, he's talking about Vardy, Cambiasso, Schmeichel. I've got to agree. I mean, if you've got Wes Morgan, keep him for the duration. Cheap as chips.
I don't think we originally planned to get rid, did we? We looked at the fixture for this double game week, and then beyond that, Newcastle at home, Southampton at home, Sunderland away, QPR at home. There's nothing to fear there, the way Leicester are playing, 4 wins in a row.
This is the advantage for people like Granville with their wild card. It's the players they've got in. It's hardly like one week punts. You look at the fixtures: Liverpool, Leicester, obviously Chelsea are Chelsea. These are players you want to keep in, and they're so cheap as well. So if you've got your Schmeichel as your second goalkeeper, you've got Wes Morgan, you've got Cambiasso. Well, if you've got better players, then just bench them. I mean, you don't need to get rid of them. They're not. It's not like 10 million players here.
Well, we have got questions about Chelsea, haven't we?
We have. So
and one about the defence as well. And
Konig the Machine asked what to do with Fabregas. So am I right in saying both of you have Fabregas? He suggests fairly obviously, I think, and quite rightly, swap for an Arsenal player. Yeah, I agree. Get Sanchez, Ramsey, Özil.
When I was doing my wild card, he was the kind of sacrificial midfielder that I was going to get a third striker for. I was looking at it, I think he should get rid of Kane and get someone else. I think I was kind of heading towards Giroud rather than Endoy, and he was the one that I was looking at and thinking, I'm not that sure about him now. He's not really produced for a while, and he's not that exciting. The way that Chelsea are playing, I don't think I actually need him, but I got him all the same because it sort of made it was the only way to get everything balanced. I didn't really want to get 2 Chelsea defenders.
Yeah, I mean he's a very easy swap to Özil or Ramsey if you've got a bit of money in the bank. I noticed in your wildcard team, Granville, that you had a bit of money in the bank, so that looks like a fairly obvious either Sanchez or Giroud move. You can do that no hit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so I've got the choice, really, for Giroud. If I wanted to get rid of Vardy or Kane, so I've got I could do a straight swap. But I'm more likely, actually, not to do that than to and either to save or to go for an Arsenal midfielder. Because I don't... It might be a risk going without an Arsenal player away to Hull, but considering the Chelsea, Liverpool and Leicester's fixtures, I think I'm going to stick with all those double game week players for next week and just play them all.
Yeah, I mean, Shifty asks about the defence, doesn't he? He says
he does.
Shed or keep.
Yeah, shed or keep. So I mean, will there be rotation at the back? Well, yeah, there will be. But I don't think it'll be John Terry. John Terry seems to have this thing about playing every match and all minutes of every match, and I don't think that will change. I think John Terry's safe. I think Ivanovic is safe. One of the things Shifty mentions, will the Ovana beast be unshackled? Yeah, I think so.
Stick him up front. I mean, Chelsea can win the title, can't they? Chelsea can win the title at home to Palace, right?
Yeah.
And then it's Liverpool at home, West Brom away, Sunderland at home. And so are we going to be turned off even the likes of Hazard if the title's in the bag? I mean, he's going to play, but is it going to have the opposite effect, you think? If once they've won the title, are they actually going to be more of an attractive fantasy proposition because Mourinho's going to relax a bit, or do you think they're actually going to carry on playing within themselves?
I think it will depend on the players. I think Ivanovic, we know, can attack. He hasn't been because they need to be winning games 1-0 So he has the potential to go forward. I think Azpilicueta and Cahill are at risk of rotation because of Zuma, and there's rotation going on there. I think, but yeah, I mean, I think we'll start seeing a few players coming in. Cuadrado could be, a nice differential coming in. It's a big risk though. I mean, I personally wouldn't. I'd be looking to get double game week players in. And Costa will probably be back as well, going for the Golden Boot. I mean, I don't know how much. I mean, I presume the Golden Boot means something. I know it definitely did with when Drogba was going for it. He grabbed the penalty ball, Frank Lampard, to make sure.
Oh yeah,
he got that.
Remind us. Yeah.
So I'm fairly certain that happened. I mean, looking at some of the other people in the players in the transfers in as well. Pella is an interesting one. He also figures highly in my shots in the box table over the last 4, but he's figured highly in the shots in the box table of the last 4 all season. And the trouble is, he's just not scoring with them, but he's suddenly scoring. So, I mean, what do we think? Do we think, this is from AVB? Do we think that Pele is actually quite an interesting differential? The last.
It's Sunderland, Leicester away, isn't it? I mean, yeah, he could get something out of that. The problem is, and everyone's now looking at Arsenal and even Sunderland players, aren't they? And this is it. Our strategies now is about how do I either make straight swaps for these Arsenal Sunderland players, or how do I prepare my squad so I can get them in for fewer point hits possible. But I would say, I mean, one thing I want to talk about later is it easy to spot Arsenal assets that are going to play 2 games? Because game week 37, Man United away, Sunderland at home. I wonder whether there's actually players that we can guarantee are going to play both those games, other than a Spina in goal. Because everywhere you look, there's a threat of rotation in that Arsenal team. And yeah, you can say Sanchez, but Wenger's come out earlier in the season and said, I want to rest Sanchez, but the fixtures are too intense. Well, will they be too intense by game week by Sunderland at home? Won't
they're going for
wrapped up on a top spot by then?
Well, it depends if they haven't wrapped up second spot. It depends if you've got that. But also you want to maintain winning momentum, especially going into a FA Cup final. You're gonna want to maintain that. But I also think players like Ertz or Sanchez, Ramsey, Giroud. If I look in the second match of a double game week, see them on the bench, I'm pretty certain they're going to be coming on at about the 70th minute or so, the way Arsenal play. And that's a usual one. I'm happy to take 20 minutes of Ramsey. Ideally, I'd like to have 180 minutes, but I'm happy. I'm happy to do that. But I think there's a good risk that Giroud won't start one of them. Welbeck will come on, but I'm happy to take 20 minutes as Giroud in the last 20 minutes of a game with tired opposition.
You mentioned Welbeck there, and I think he could be a factor because I think he will. Man United and Sunderland, 2 of his former clubs, right? He started Welbeck in the cup tie at Old Trafford, and he scored one of the goals. And he didn't expect him to start that game, but he made a point of putting him in the starting 11 against United. I wonder whether he'll start him again at Old Trafford, and I don't think he'll start up front. I think he'll play Giroud there. But if he plays Welbeck in one of the wide roles, Welbeck could end up playing up front for Giroud against Sunderland. He could be the one to get 2 games, Welbeck, here in this situation.
Could be.
I think he's, he owes him starts as well. He's going to feel that, and against United, I think he'll play him. Just psychologically, I think it's something that Wenger will think about doing.
I mean, it's a real tough one getting the right Arsenal players because, as you said, you just don't know. I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, I would say because you're thinking you're going to be in game week 37. You're looking at a captaincy, so you want the most minutes, really. I mean, Sanchez, I think, is probably the most likely. There's a bit like Mourinho with Costa. When Costa's fit and when Sanchez is fit with Wenger, they just play. They will play them. There's some. I don't know whether Sanchez gives Wenger a Chinese burn or a wedgie or something before persuade him to play. But he's very. Yeah, he's more likely to play than both matches than Giroud. But then you've got to think of the defence as well. So I mean, which do we go for an Arsenal defender that week? And is Koscielny going to get 2 games? I mean, I'd say he's the more likely, but I would say Ospina is probably the best bet. Because
he's the only one I would say in the 11 that I can look at and go, He'll
Am
get
I
both
right in
games.
saying that Wenger's been playing Chesney in the FA Cup?
Mm.
I can't see that changing for the final. Tends to be a norm. So I think if I was to get one of those and want 180 minutes and think I'm going to get a couple of clean sheets, Ospina would be the one, I think.
I think though, this is what I mean. I think the tactic that I'm going with, I'm just going to leave it as long as I can to get as much information, because I want to know, how close are Arsenal sit in second spot before game week 37. I want to know how many minutes, their players are playing against Hull away and Swansea at home. So I'm not going to get any Arsenal players in probably until that game week. I'm not going to get them in now, because I want to leave it to the last minute so I can be sure of getting the best chance of getting 90 minutes. But I think it's going to be tough.
I'm totally with you there, Mark. Especially, like you only have to look at what's happened to you with Leicester getting players in early because you had to, and they didn't end up playing. But had you got them in this week, you wouldn't have got those players in this week because you knew there were doubts. You didn't know about Schlupp, but you knew about Nugent. I think it's always valuable to know exactly how Arsenal are going to be set up for game week 37 before you pick the players.
Yeah.
Probably better to go into game week 37 with two transfers waiting to get those two Arsenal players, and I think that's where I'm going to play it. I know it's a bit of a risk. We'll see how it goes. It might be a bit of a risk not.
Well, I don't know. But then you're looking
games.
the other way. I got Ramsey in 2 or 3 game weeks ago early for game week 37, and he's been.
You could have got Özil. You know what I mean? It's just.
But then I wouldn't have so many points because I've got Ramsey, all of Ramsey's lovely points.
I know. But that's down to luck.
When Giroud gets a couple in against.
That's down to luck as well, John T.
It's not
luck. It's down to luck as well. Can I just go over? Okay, can I just go over the Arsenal situation, because we've got those 2 games, game week 37, but we've also got a game week in 38, which is it's another game week, and playing West Brom at home. Can you see Arsenal putting? They've got the FA Cup final 6 days later.
Yeah.
He's going to rest players, isn't he?
Yeah.
For that
Yeah.
This is why I think Welbeck could be the one, because I think he's going to get a good few minutes out of 37 and 38, and I think he's going to be a big differential, because I think he'll definitely play the West Brom game, because like you say, I don't think he's going to start in the cup final. Well, and I think there's a chance he will play at Old Trafford because of the former club kind of situation, which we've seen already this year. So I think he could be a real kind of joke in a pack there that people will definitely. I think in a couple of weeks he'll be one worth considering. Let's see how many minutes he gets before that.
Well, this is the thing. He's not really in any sort of form because he hasn't played. It's a risk getting him in just because it's Welbeck. You know what I mean? He's not prolific goal scorer. It'll be relying very much on his teammates setting him up. But I guess that's the same with Giroud. Giroud thrives on service, and you get quite a lot of service from Arsenal's midfield.
Yeah, I think it is a risk. We'll see. As I say, if Welbeck doesn't get starts in the next 2, I think he's due, and I think that could be an option.
What I look about is Arsenal have Hull next game week, and then they have Swansea at home the next game week. These are both games where Sanchez, Giroud, Ramsey, Özil, Arsenal defence can all rack up points. So if you, I can see why you're waiting to get more information. But at the same time, those that are perhaps invested in those players and others that are perhaps hanging on to your Kanes and Ericssons and these types of players, could be missing out on 20 points. Maybe
Yeah, but I think if I hold Fabregas for Palace at home and Liverpool at home, I'm okay with that. Chelsea might have wrapped up the title at home to Palace, but at home to Liverpool, Stamford Bridge, Mourinho's not going to pull back on that one. So. Well, I'm pretty comfortable with having Fabregas for 2 home matches over Ramsey or Sanchez, I think, and then having more info going into 37. I think at the moment that's what I'm going to do. I've learnt my lesson with Nugent. I think Granville's spot on. I think if there's more information, better.
Because you have a wild card, so you had to start stocking up on those players.
Yeah, this is it. But
I've got Ospina, so I'm covered there. That's my only Arsenal player right now. With Sunderland, they've got Van Arnold. I think that was kind of a no-brainer because of his price, and he's playing every week now. So I think I'm just not worried about it. I think I'll probably have 2 or 3 more double game week players by the time the game week comes along, and just see how it goes. I'm just kind of worried about getting someone in and then getting injured, like the Remy kind of thing. It's just one of those unfortunate things that you've got that you can get stuck with players, and then you're not sure, then you never get the information on whether whether they're definitely out or not. I mean, that's probably why you held on to Remy for so long, but then you did the right thing to get rid of him. But people did keep him this week.
Yeah, it cost me points, but I also think as well, because we're forgetting that Sunderland have a double game week. It's not the greatest, but Sunderland are battling to stay in the Premier League. Now, if certain players, perhaps myself, others, start stocking up on Arsenal, and then by the time we get to the double game week, we're going into that maybe saving a transfer over, and then you can start to kind of luxuriate in these kind of Sunderland punts. So that's where you think, well, I don't need to make that Giroud move because I've already got him in. I don't need to make that Sanchez move. So maybe I can just take a little chance on Connor Wickham or maybe Seb Larsson.
The one issue I see in that game week is Spurs are at home to Hull. I know Spurs, it's kind of banana skin game for Spurs, but you'd want Harry Kane in that game, really, wouldn't you? Especially if he's going for the Golden Boot.
I don't know though. I mean, we'll come to this later, but I mean, I've got Ndoye and Kane, and I honestly at this stage don't know which one to dump for Giroud, which sounds odd, but you
weren't talking like that a few weeks ago, Jonty, when you were out about selling Kane. How things change. We talked about having Giroud. One manager who has got Giroud in his team is Dufflink, Simon March. He's got him on the bench, and he played his wild card this week.
Yeah.
And we expected it to work in his favour, and it kind of has. It's not been a massive win for him. He got 55 points. His nearest rival got 53, and then and after that 51, and then Jack Wayne has come from nowhere with 62. But Simon leads by 30 points, and the two teams below him took 4 points each, so he's got a 34-point lead, and he's going into Tuesday, Wednesday with a couple more double game weekers than most. So, and the real thing is he's got Van Aanholt and Giroud on his bench, so basically he's already got two double game weekers for 37 already there, locked and loaded, so he can spend his transfers between now and then getting more. So yeah, he's in a good position. It wasn't a devastating wildcard performance, but I think he'll be fairly happy. He's basically just maintaining that lead, so it looks like Dufflinks is still on target. We'll see how he fares. I mean, this is obviously being recorded on Monday night. We'll see. He's got a couple of games to go. We'll see if he stretches the lead by Saturday. I just want to look at the Sky game as well, because Kevin has slipped further down in that. He's now 10 points behind in the overall standings. He's second to Jeff Pryor in the Scout League on 2157. Jeff Pryor on 2166, and Jeff is third overall, 1 point behind Stephen Adams, and Kevin's back, as I say, on 2157, 10 points behind. Very, very close. Very close. That one is going to go to the wire. It's all going to be down to how many transfers these guys have got left. And Kevin, he's still in there. It depends what he's got up his sleeve. Okay, let's look at the weekend preview, Granville, before we move on to more community questions. It seems strange when we've got two more games to go, but we must press on. So, clean sheets, you're going to pick out Leicester again, Granville? Are they going to get a third clean sheet in 4?
Yeah, they could do. I mean, Newcastle aren't in any great form, are they? I think they could do. I don't see why not. I think the early game, Newcastle are just in such poor form at the minute. I think they could do it. So I go for Leicester. I go for Liverpool at home to QPR, and which other double game week defensive have got? Oh, Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea. This is it. I mean, this is what we talked about. So we talked about the double game week teams paying off. You just picked out all three of them to reward with more defensive returns.
I'm just being...
No, but I think you're right.
I'm just trying to be clever, but at the same time, you look at those are pretty much the most obvious ones. Maybe Arsenal away to Hull, but who knows? I mean, Crystal Palace are a dangerous team away from home, but I can't see Chelsea just really... They're only dangerous because they're great on the counter-attack. I can't see Chelsea giving them anything.
No.
Chelsea they'll get a 1-0 win, won't they? They'll get a
penalty or something. West Ham looks pretty good for a clean sheet, I think. Definitely against Burnley. Burnley are just sinking. It's just, I mean that the Leicester game with the penalty miss where it hit the bar and then and then within minutes they conceded. You could just tell. I mean, they almost look like just given up all hope of living. It was West Ham are defensively very solid at the moment.
I don't like to see Matt Taylor suffering.
Oh,
See
God.
the favourite
I was
out.
thinking about you, Mark.
Yeah.
Why didn't Ings take that? Is this because he's out of form? Because he normally takes them, doesn't he?
Yeah, but Taylor's a penalty king, isn't he, in that situation? Yeah. But yeah, they can't buy a goal. You're right, Jonty. And I think, but I don't know. West Ham is so unpredictable.
I think there's potential, a lot of potential clean sheets. And Man U, I'm thinking, just Van Gaal's comments after. I mean, he was not a happy man after that Everton game. I mean, those of us that follow Wayne Rooney in fantasy football know that Wayne Rooney against Everton is not the fixture to go for Wayne Rooney. He's got an inbuilt "I can't do much against Everton" button that gets pressed. But I wasn't expecting the whole team to have a self-destruct button. That won't be maintained. West Brom are not free scoring at the moment. They'll be keeping it tight. I think if you've got a Man U defender, obviously which one to go for, but if Smalling can stay fit, I think he looks like a good bet for this week.
Yeah, or Luke Shaw maybe if you want a bit of attacking threat. Yeah, I think there's a few there. I think you're absolutely right, and but I think the double game week teams will do well. I think Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea all looks like home wins for those three, and so the incentive is there to keep your double game weekers on this week and bank your transfers. So yeah, it's all pretty obvious. Okay, Jonty, let's finish on more questions from the community. We've got lots to get through. Green Wimbledon starts us on, doesn't he?
Yeah, Green Wimbledon. So yeah, we spoke briefly earlier about Hutton dressed as Lamb. He had the inside scoop for us on Jamie Vardy's foot injury via Jamie Vardy's
extraordinary story, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was people were questioning him. I was about to delete some comments thinking it was a wind up, but it was all true. So he had this, he gave us the inside scoop, and she actually responded saying, "You fancy Football Scout lot are insane," because the amount of interest going into
it was trending on, well, not trending on Twitter, but there's a lot of talk about it on Twitter. We were getting some stick going, why do they allow this rumour mongering? And
you couldn't believe that this whole army of people who follow Fantasy Football Scout were obsessed with her boyfriend's foot.
To be fair, Jamie Vardy's not top of our kind of peak our interest very often. This happened to be the game week where he did, and
that's
so
the most interesting foot of the week. So Green Wimbledon asked, "Do any of us have a tenuous connection to a professional footballer that may prove useful?" I don't.
Go on, John. I know you do. Don't you?
No, I don't.
No, my relationship with Matt Taylor doesn't extend to that. I just put him in my fantasy football team, so I don't have any inside knowledge, I'm afraid. Not footballers anyway, but no. I need to know. Obviously, need to get to know what wives and girlfriends. I did get chatting to Brian Dean's girlfriend once when I went to see the Fantasy Football Club recorded. Luke will tell you all about that. She was quite chatty, almost uncomfortably chatty, to the point where. It felt like Luke started to be, she's really flirting with you. And Brian Dean's a big fella, so I was getting quite nervous by that. I did well to get out of that one because I could see him he kept looking for his girlfriend in the audience, and she just kept talking to me. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Brian Dean's about 6'4", so that was a contact I didn't want to make, to be honest. But
did you just refer to a football crowd as an audience?
It was an audience. Yes, it was the Fantasy Football Club TV show. I was there in the audience, as was she.
Oh, that's fine. Sorry, yes.
And it wasn't a big audience, put it that way, so he could easily spot her. And it looked like I was chatting her up, and I was just trying to avoid it because it was getting rather embarrassing. And like I say, Brian Dean's not someone I want to mess with. I remember some of his challenges, so. Yeah. No, but I don't have any football contacts, I'm afraid. Not in that respect, anyway. But fair play to Hutton. A great call, and we'll see if we get any regular Vardy update.
Yeah, he's our Vardy foot correspondent. So
we've
got AVB asks, has the adventurous part of the season for everyone above the top 10,000, has that already passed? So as in those above the top 10,000, do you have any hope of getting into? I'm not sure what. I suppose Granville. Would that be your kind of situation at the moment?
Well, that's all I've got really now.
Yeah.
I had two. I mean, since my season went wrong, a couple of months ago, I had two further things that I wanted to achieve. The first one was to beat Ben, who's our other kind of our work mini league opponent, who won it a few times, but he had a shocker this week, an absolute shocker. He scored about 20 odd, so I'm about 50 odd ahead of him. I think it's curtains for him now.
That's in the bag, Granville.
That's good.
Yeah, I think it is, and plus there's more to come tomorrow. He made a mistake. He kept players like Remy. He had Austin missing the penalty. It all went wrong for him.
That's good.
No, I wasn't too upset about that. And the other one is the top 10,000. Now I went onto the you can check to see on the Gargatron app, and it tells you what your rank is and how close you are to the top 10,000. And I'm now 12 points off the top 10,000.
Wow.
So
okay. Well, so very realistic then.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a time where there's still possibility. I mean, like people like Benteke looks a great pick, but at the moment, not everyone would be looking beyond him to Giroud. But if you wanted to make up some ground, there's Pella we talked about as well. There are players out there, I think, that you could go for, which would be against the grade, which would be against what the crowd are doing, that could produce for you. I think taking risk for game week 37 would be Wickham, I guess, or
Yeah, go for Sunderland. Seb Larson, I think, is great.
You do love a bit of Larson, don't you?
No, well, he's right on my street because he's really boring. He takes set pieces. He takes, he puts in he pings the crosses in. I mean, it's just basically he's got the stats. So if you think Sunderland are going to score, chances are he's going to be involved somewhere. And he's been suspended for a while. Been sitting at home. He
does get a few yellow cards, and also the free kicks thing is overstated because he hadn't scored one in 2 years up until
but
a few weeks.
He doesn't need to score. It just takes them, gives us hope. That's the thing. So you never know. But I think
where else do you go for your Sunderland players?
Well, it's got to be Wickham.
Not an option anymore, is it?
No. Well, I mean. This is something that SAB has asked us about, thinking about adventure and motivation, but thinking on the player's point of view. So, I mean, he's looking at teams like West Ham and Stoke, and he's saying they're basically on the beach. So, is this the time that we actually go for someone playing for someone? We spoke about Chelsea earlier. Will they actually have anything to play for if they've already won? So, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot in that. I mean, Stoke and not, I mean, Adams still a little differential, but I wouldn't get a West Ham attacker. I'd definitely get a West Ham defender though. They look good, Cresswell.
I think it's there's going to be some fixtures where there's two teams involved who've got nothing to play for, and it might be something like someone crazy like Odin Wengi who gets a hat trick or something like that. There's going to be something like that, but how you find that is just
you can't predict it.
It's the Choya factor. If you remember that.
Yes.
He's got a hat trick last game of the season. I think Chelsea though, if they wrap up the league, it's not the next game against Palace.
Yeah.
They're just gonna. I don't think they're going to be the same team. I mean, I know I've seen it with United. I mean, quite a few times, and City. They just don't. It's not something they do on purpose. It's just that they do actually psychologically take their foot off the gas. So there's nothing for them to play for anymore. Even though they do try, it's just an inbuilt thing where they just can't give it 100%. And I think it'll happen to Chelsea.
Well, I mean,
this is why I say. Other than Hazard, which I think you got to keep because of the penalties and because you can turn it on. I think he's the only option. I'm going to get rid of Ivanovic if they wants to win the league.
Yeah,
I know you're saying that. Well, maybe a road forward, but I don't even know if he's going to play.
Well, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I must admit, I do hope he'd go forward. But I look at that price tag and I look where else I can use that money in the final weeks. And you look at some of the expensive differential defenders, maybe double up on Liverpool even. I mean, there's options there. But I mean, Andy85 asks about, and we're talking about motivation, but he said, what about Golden Boot then? So, we talked about Kane earlier. There's also Costa as well. There's Aguero. I mean, these players, I'm assuming it's going to mean something to them. So I'm assuming Now, out of those three, Kane's not getting the service, so there's a limit to how much he can actually achieve. Aguero and Costa arguably will get the service. Well, Costa may not, if your prediction about Chelsea. So, I think there's definitely motivation there. But I don't know about you two, whether you think the Golden Boot really does affect players.
Well, I mean, look at the final day fixtures, and you got City at home to Southampton, which isn't going to be easy for Aguero. I mean, you've got to think City might still be in the hunt for second place. Southampton still looking to seal Europa League place, believe it or not. They seem to want to play in the Europa League, which will probably be the end of their season next year. So that's not an easy one for Aguero. And then you look at Kane, he's away at Everton. Well, that's going to be really hard. 4 clean sheets and 5 are good as I think it is, or maybe even be 5 and 6. So, and then you got Costa at home to Sunderland. Now, Granville, you were talking about will Chelsea take their foot off the gas. That game against Sunderland, though, if you remember a few seasons back, there was that goal fest. It was like 7-3 or something like that. That could be another one of those because you've got Sunderland turning up trying to save their lives at Stamford Bridge, who have got to go for it. And Chelsea, champions, playing in front of the home crowd, Costa going for Golden Boot. That could be 4-3, 5-3. That could be a goal bonanza because it's about an exhibition, isn't it? And with Sunderland got to attack as well, that could be the one. That could be the fixture that turns things on its head. Out of those 3, I think Costa's got a chance if he's fit.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think people with some money in the bank, Costa unusually now is a really good differential, especially if you put the armband on him. So it's pretty good. I mean, some of our other posters, Geordie NUFC, and I can't even pronounce this one, Jacques Rodriguez. They've asked about, we've covered them really, about Sunderland assets really. I mean, I've said Seb Larson and Connor Wickham would be good, but I mean, are you two even going to bother with Sunderland players for the double game week?
Well, I've got PBA. A lot of people have Pantilimon, but yeah, I'm looking at Wickham definitely. It's just I don't think I want to get rid of Kane for that week at home to Hull. It's just that whether I take the risk of getting rid of Aguero. Because I think I'm going to have Giroud. It's likely.
The thing is, their fixtures, the away games couldn't be any tougher. Everton, Arsenal, Chelsea, that's like probably the 3 best home defences in the league, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah.
Because you can't put City in there as a decent defence. So, yeah, I just struggle to see what they're going to do out of those matches. I mean, Pantilimon's an option because you've got save points, but no, I mean, Wickham at a push, I think.
But, I mean, we've already said, I mean, we can't really have it both ways in that do we think that the top teams are going to take the foot off the gas if they've already won something? Or do we think the teams struggling relegation are going to come up against a brick wall? Well, the indication is that they might not come up against a brick wall because they'll come up against champions who just going to just take their foot off the gas, perhaps make mistakes, perhaps.
Yeah, Chelsea, but I don't think Everton and Arsenal are going to give them an inch because I think Everton are just on this run where they want to keep that going. And Arsenal, they'll still be going for second place, or still trying to seal it. I would have thought, maybe not.
Yeah.
So, but Chelsea, yeah, I mean that could be that's the one fixture that the end of the season, and obviously we're going to have a ScoutCast at the time, but the end of the season, you look at the fixture list, and it's ironic because everything's going to end, obviously pin on this last game week of the season, and anything could happen, couldn't it? This is the problem, particularly if Chelsea have won it by then, which surely they will have done. So if things are set,
Yeah, it's ripe for a huge goal fest. I remember, was it 2 or 3 seasons ago, Man United and West Brom when Lukaku was on. What did he get? He got a hat trick, didn't he? Or
was it 5-4 or 4-3? It was
5-4. I mean, God,
5-all. It was
5-all. I mean, you got 10 goals. That's incredible.
Fergie's last game.
I mean, we got time for a final question.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. This is from Luke, Disabled, who was on last week. He's our resident Sky expert. He asks us all which comic book hero or villain you wish you could be. So I'm presuming that's related to our fantasy football skills.
Jonty, I bet you've prepared one. You've got a good one.
Well, yeah, I'm as Luke knows, I'm a big comics fan. So I would like to be the Daredevil, the man without fear. I would like to be able to ditch Harry Kane. I would like to be able to ditch Aguero for Costa. and all these things, but I'm not. But so in reality, I'm in fact Swamp Thing, in that I've barely moved. I'm stuck in the mud, and I've moved a few hundred places over the last 20 game weeks.
So, hold on, haven't the Avengers got someone called Captain Dullard? No,
Captain
I'm making it
Dullard.
up.
You're thinking of Captain America, Clint Dempsey.
Indeed. I'm not a comic book fan. I was when I was so at the moment. I would say I'm probably the Incredible Sulk based on the Nugent Schlupp situation. That's about the best I can do with that because I'm pretty miserable. Granville, that should be you for most of the season. Have you got a superhero alter ego?
Oh, I was just going to say that I'd be a Spider-Man because I want to scale up to the top 10,000.
That's terrible. That's absolutely shocking.
Kane actually. Kane's a comic book character, isn't he?
He is.
Isn't he in Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob Kane, who wrote.
Sorry, I didn't really prepare that very well. I just thought about it now.
No, it's a good question, Luke. Keep going with the oddball questions. Yeah, very good, John T. Very good answer for that. So Granville, wildcard success. We've got 2 more matches to come, but I think you'll put that down to the successful wildcard. So congratulations on that, and looks like you're on target for 10,000 finish. I've let the top 100 finish slip now. I actually got a text message of a certain person today to wish me luck on my bid for the top 100. It's
Really?
funny that text message should arrive in the game week where I slip 100 places. It's good timing to that person.
Is that the only thing he cares about now?
I think it probably is.
He's had such a rotten season. I'm miles ahead of him.
Yeah, I know. But at least Granville, you're going to beat the current champion because Tom Fenley's seen to that this week for you, so you're definitely on track to beat that. And John T, good game week. Well done with the Endoy pick.
Yes.
You basked in that glory, but
yes.
Yeah, you're owed that. That was a pick supreme. Yeah. We'll see what he can do against the Liverpool defence. Yeah,
and Liverpool this week. Yeah, who knows?
Let's see. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for joining me. And thanks for listening out there. It's a good night for me.
Good night.
And good night for me.
Good night all.